In any election, everybody who stands has a chance. But the question is how big a chance. His chances of winning at present are not very high. But we know we are not going to have an election today. For one, we don't have an IEBC. So until you constitute an IEBC, you cannot have an election. In fact, there are by-elections which are pending.
The number of people who are not happy with Ruto are far more than the number of people happy with him in the country. That's a fact as of now. It's another story whether that will be maintained and sustained until 2027.
But mambo ni mbichi, mambo bado. Wangoje, ama namna gani? Tuko pamoja jameni? Wangoje kwanza, wacha tupangane na maendeleo. Kuna siku siasa itafika na tutajua vile tutafanya. Ama namna gani? Mimi nimeamua ya kwamba tutatengeneza serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Bila ya kujali nani amepiga kura upande gani. Bila ya kujali nani wa mrengo gani. Bila ya kujali nani wa chama gani. Kwa sababu sote ni ndugu moja. Sisi wote ni watu wa nchi moja.
In the recent month or two, things have become worse. Despite a lot of effort to try and paint a positive picture. The reprimand by the bishops was very hard-hitting, the Catholic bishops. And then all the other bishops joined.
We start this video by asking you this question. If elections are held today, can you elect Ruto for president? Write in the comments section. William Ruto is embracing his political opponents to secure a second term in office in 2027. Amid growing discontent with his government among some Kenyans, at the height of Gen Z protests, President Ruto sacked the entire cabinet save for his then-deputy Rigathi Gachagua and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. He then reappointed all but 6 cabinet secretaries, CSs, and co-opted 4 senior members of the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, into his cabinet in what is now regarded as a broad-based government. But then he later engineered the impeachment of his DP Gachagua. From the It is allegedly said that the mountain drifted away from him. Thank you for turning in. Please take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel. Like this video and turn on notifications. Leave a comment. If elections are held today, can you elect Ruto for president? Thank you. Now let's get deeper. As a strategy to reclaim control of Emet Kenya region from rebellious Gachagua, President Ruto, in early December, met with his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta at his home in Ichaweri, Gatundu South, Kiambu County. Days later, President Ruto incorporated 3 key allies of former President Kenyatta: Mutahi Kagwe, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development; William Kabogo, Ministry of Information, Communication, and Digital Economy; and Lee Kinyanjui, Ministry of Investment, Trade, and Industry.
Agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for the JKIA expansion public-private partnership.
Whatever he says, whatever he touches, contributes to the loss of credibility and the believability. So that we got into a point where people are not just unwilling to believe what he has said, but they're not even ready to listen to what he's saying.
On January 13th, President Ruto met and held talks with Kiraitu Murungi, an influential politician from Meru, at State House in Nairobi, to discuss what they both described as national and regional matters. Murungi's visit to State House has sparked speculation that President Ruto might appoint him to cabinet, to replace Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi, after he publicly criticized the president and his government over the wave of abductions in the country. Muturi was a no-show in the January 21st cabinet meeting held at the Kakamega State Lodge in Kakamega County, as the president held a cabinet meeting with his CSs. Some political analysts argue that President Ruto is politically desperate and restless to regain his lost popularity in the Emt Kenya region. The president, it seems, is willing to employ every strategy to restore his popularity in the region. The president has defended his move as a way of transforming the country. He is on record stating that the appointments are a journey to another handshake, months after his previous one with his political nemesis, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. We formed the government as Kenya Kwanza. Halfway, we faced some challenges. Even the other day, I expanded my government to include others to unite the country, President Ruto said during a church service in Uasin Gishu County in December. Already, President Ruto's allies have signaled a determination to secure a second term for him in the 2027 general elections. Kapsabet Member of Parliament, MP, Oscar Sudi, has been very vocal in asserting that President Ruto will not be a one-term president, and they will do everything possible within their power to guarantee his re-election.
Hii Kenya hakuna rais ameenda kwa miaka 5. Kwani huyu ndiye atakuwa wa kwanza? Kama tunafanya nini? Kama tumelala wapi? Kama nini imefanyika? Kwani Kenya ni yenu? Mjue William Ruto aende mahali. Makawas. Hapo nduma nyigura ile kinyiti.
Mnajua kwamba William Ruto ni rais wa pili Mkalenjin. Sindio? Yes. Tulikuwa na Kenyatta. Hakukuwa na mapinduzi wakati wa Kenyatta. Kulikuwa? Tumekuwa na Rais Moi kwa na majaribio ya mapinduzi, sindio? Yes. Tukakuwa na Rais Kibaki. Hakuna majaribio ya mapinduzi. Sindio? Yes. Tukakuwa na nani? Uhuru. Hakuna hata sekundi moja ya majaribio ya mapinduzi. Kwa nini huyu? Kwa nini Moi na Ruto? Umejiuliza hiyo maswali? Why? Why the bitterness that Kalenjin is a president? Why? Why all of a sudden people have become so bitter because of a Kalenjin president? Mnakumbuka kama nyinyi wadogo kidogo, kama unakumbuka wakati wa Moi. Moi aliteswa na kila mtu mpaka akakuwa dikteta. Ikabidi. Yes. Mnaelewa mreje? Mpaka ikabidi. It is not easy to be a Kalenjin president in this republic. It is not an easy thing. Sasa huyu alikuwa ameanza in private. Unajua kuna maneno. Jamaa anafikiri ati kwa sababu yeye deputy. Unajua kuna watu dunia hii ya serikali ambao wanaitwa NIS. NIS wanasikiliza mpaka president. Wewe unajua NIS ni nani? Tukiwa hapa unajua nani ndio NIS? Unajua? Hao watu wanasikiliza mpaka rais mwenyewe. Kwa sababu unajua mtu anaweza kuwa rais alafu kichwa anaharibika. He must be rescued from himself also. Unaelewa? Sasa huyu jamaa in private conversations yeye amekuwa akitamka huyu William huyu ni one term president. Huyu ni one term president. Anapanga 2027 kumalizia. Na kuna mambo mengine pia anapanga ambayo sitaambia nyinyi hapa. Kutoka la mera rais ngalaji bongana joni ngaja. Sasa tukasema kama unapangia mtu yako mabaya ati one term sasa wewe usikule half term. Ama ukinipangia na kupangia ama namna gani? So I want you to remember that statement I made, that it is only a Kalenjin president that has faced attempted coup. It has never happened to any other president. Na ndio maana tukasema kama sisi watu hapa ndai msamee hao wajumbe wenu wakifanya hiyo decision wamemake. Msione kwamba sisi ati no. Kwa sababu ya hii maneno ambaye na mtasikia Jumanne katika bunge maneno itatokea mingi zaidi. Naelewa? Hata hii msamaha unajua nimeona jamaa wameomba msamaha ni ya Mwenyezi Mungu jamani.
MP Sudi's sentiments have further been echoed by several other MPs allied to the president. including Mogotio MP Ruben Kiborek, Baringo North MP Joseph Makalap, Rongai MP Paul Chibor, and Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot. Additionally, Tiati MP William Kamket recently hinted at a possible proposal to extend the president's tenure beyond the constitutionally mandated 2 terms of 5 years each. President Ruto is also keen to ensure that Raila Odinga bags the coveted African Union Commission, AUC, chairmanship seat, as it holds both continental influence and has domestic political implications in his 2027 re-election plan. Odinga's victory in the AUC election will see him abandon local politics, which would leave a void and trigger alignments and realignments in the country's political scene. It is clear that President Ruto's support for Odinga is part of a wider political strategy to get the former Prime Minister off the local political scene, appease his supporters, and, if possible, inherit Odinga's political base. Political analysts also note that Odinga has a solid support base, which is necessary for President Ruto to replace the uneasy Emet Kenya region, which feels betrayed by the president following the impeachment of Gachagua as deputy president. However, a loss for Odinga would see him return to local politics, a move that would throw off President Ruto. Analysts say that if Odinga returns to local politics, he could either make or break President Ruto and other bigwigs as the country heads towards the 2027 general elections. The ongoing political conversations and events signal the potential for intensified political activities as the country heads towards 2027, even as President Ruto vows to fulfill campaign promises. We have come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel, like this video and turn on notifications. Leave a comment. If elections are held today, can you elect Ruto for president? Thank you. Let's meet in our next video. Good luck.
Galvanize the Mount Kenya to support a Ruto Kindiki ticket in 2027. I think the answer for that is not necessarily, I don't want to say not likely. What I want to say is it depends. You see, the Mount Kenya people, these are the most highly educated voters in the country. They don't vote emotion. People think they actually vote emotions, they don't. Ruto sold himself as a candidate very effectively. He had an agenda they identified with and they voted for him. They will have to have an agenda similar to the one Ruto was having with Kindiki. The Mount Kenya, he cannot vote for the ticket because Kindiki is the deputy president or any other person is the deputy president. That won't happen. What will happen is if the president and his deputy, they have a clear agenda for the country, like the one he had when he was campaigning for election as a UNDA candidate. If they have a clear agenda, they wouldn't be voted because of that agenda, but not because somebody from Mount Kenya is a deputy president. I think this community and the Kenyan community generally has moved out of that space. They understand very well that when you become a deputy president, the young people in your area where you come from, or rather within Kenya as a whole, who didn't have a job, they still don't have a job. The dispensary in your home that didn't have medicine, it still doesn't have medicine. The hospital which didn't have doctor, it still doesn't have doctor. What am I saying? For that ticket to attract the Mount Kenya vote, it will have to restructure the economy. It will have to make a success of the economy. Then the Mount Kenya will vote for it and the whole country will support it. Let me tell you this with all sincerity, the mountain left William Ruto a long time ago. In fact, that's why Gachagua was impeached. Gachagua was impeached because the president has intelligence that the mountain is not there. The mountain is on there because the promises that UNDA made, or the president made, to the people of Kenya, not just to the mountain, because the mountain is tied to the country, most of those, they don't see them as having been fulfilled. So, being what they are, the people from this region, they already started moving away. And that is, in fact, what has informed Gachagua's impeachment, because he was there without the without the public. Gachagua was within the government without the Mount Kenya people with him. And that's why it was so easy to remove him. Yes. Now will Gachagua be able to move Mount Kenya to Kalonzo Musyoka, for example? The answer is actually yes. Gachagua tried, when he was deputy president, to make himself kingpin of Mount Kenya without his success. But what has happened is the impeachment process has cleansed him. All his carelessness, because he's the most careless politician I've ever seen, his total lack of emotional intelligence, all that is now forgiven.
Kuna serikali ilichaguliwa 3 years after leadership haijaita one term, waliita ya Moi one term ikakuwa 24. Wakaita ya Kibaki one term ikakuwa 10 years. Wakaita ya Uhuru one term ikakuwa 10 years. Wakaita ya Moi Kenyatta one term ikakuwa 15 years. Hii ya William Ruto ndio mnaona inaweza kuwa one term.
Ile watu wanaongea hapa wanasema ati Ruto must go. Ruto anaenda wapi? Ruto ni 32 na pengine tuendelee kidogo. Kama namna gani?
Now people will listen to Gachagua, and anybody who thinks that won't happen, it does not understand the mountain. First, the people of Mount Kenya generally don't like any fairness. When they saw the process, the way it went, they thought that was not fair. That is also why they supported, part of why they supported William Ruto. They did not like the way Uhuru Kenyatta treated William Ruto. They also don't like the way Gachagua has been treated. With all his fault notwithstanding, because Gachagua has a lot of faults. Gachagua, as deputy president, when he won the election, he had no reason to continue the campaign, to continue lambasting Uhuru Kenyatta, to continue lambasting Raila Odinga. When you win an election, you form a government. The government that is formed is a government of the Republic of Kenya. And if you are a proper politician, you go to the people you have defeated. Because there is another election. You tell them, well, whatever I said during the election, that was a campaign. Campaign is over. Could we now please work together? He didn't do that. He perpetuated an unnecessary war. But this time, I think, his alliance with sections of Azimio, that alliance will strengthen Azimio, because I can tell you this, right now, Gachagua has a voice within the mountain, which he didn't have until he was impeached. Well, first of all, we wouldn't say he's an impeached, Gachagua is an impeached person. So his political goal is not there. And this is why I think the framers of that impeachment and the advisors of William Ruto got it wrong. If they wanted to divide the opposition vote, they should not have impeached Gachagua. And impeached Gachagua is more dangerous to the government than a Gachagua who is not impeached. The reason is this: Gachagua is a very difficult person. Gachagua was going to be a presidential candidate. Nobody was going to remove him from being a candidate. But an impeached Gachagua, who cannot be a presidential candidate, will throw his weight behind an opposition, behind Kalonzo Musyoka, for example. And that will be a strong ticket. Uhuru Kenyatta factor in Mount Kenya will play out in big. Uhuru was another person who was not popular in Mount Kenya. Okay, he was completely unpopular. But now, because of the way we were talking before the election, Uhuru now is listened. The Mount Kenya people will listen to Uhuru Kenyatta. Right now, I think the kingpin for Mount Kenya is Uhuru Kenyatta plus Gachagua. So whatever signed, Uhuru Kenyatta decided to support. That design will have people of Mount Kenya fully behind it. If you are talking about the mountain, not Kenya. Although, if you ask me, I think this Kenya will probably be all of it on one side, depending on how the country moves its economy from now going forward.